and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Brianne from Beyond Creation. In today's video, we have a super quick card tutorial for when you need a card in a pinch. You maybe don't have time to go grab one, or you want it just to be homemade and you want it to look really nice, but you don't have copious amounts of time to put it together. This is the card for you. It is going to incorporate some foil cardstock, some layering, and it's going to look like you spent hours fussing at it when really it's only going to take you around 15 or 20 minutes. So let's get into the tutorial. So this card is really inspired by, I'll pop up a picture of the one that I made for a wedding that I went to recently. And it was really inspired by a Simple Stories paper collection that I got for my wedding album. That collection came with tags in the 12 by 12 paper collection. And I wasn't really sure, aside from kind of using them as inserts in my photo album, how I was going to use them. I guess I could use them as tags on my gifts, but I typically send cards with my gifts, so I don't really put or attach a tag to my gift. So I came up with the card that you're going to see here on the screen. I don't have it with me. I did give it away at the wedding, but you'll see that it has some layering. It has the base cardstock, the pattern cardstock, and then it has an embossed bit. I used a peony embossing folder. I'm also going to be using that here today, but that is kind of off on an angle. And then you'll see on top there, I have the tag, which functions as both a cute little embellishment as well as the sentiment all in one. And then there is some stuffing of some florals that I put in there as well. So that is the card that I came up with, incorporating the tags that maybe didn't really have another use for me. So that is how I'm going to be using the rest of the tags in that paper collection. Then I remembered that the Simple Stories Holidays paper collection, the Christmas collection, also had a bunch of tags in there. So I am going to be using that to show you with a paper collection that comes with a tag. And then I have also pulled out my Spellbinders Club's Always Remember paper pad. And I've pulled out a couple different paper combinations, as you can see here. And I am going to be making a couple that don't have tags necessarily, but we're going to cut the cardstock down and make it look like there was a tag. So there's a little bit more to the card that we're not using actual tags on, just because we're going to kind of finagle our own little sentiment on the cardstock. But I'm also going to show you with the paper collection that has actual tags. So what I'm using here for the Christmas one is the Holidays by Simple Stories. I am just using the 6x8 paper pad. So I have pulled out two sheets here, this floral and this polka dot. This is the tag that I am going to be using from Our Home to Yours. And then I've also just pulled out a few little ephemera bits that I can use for stuffing to mimic what I did on the wedding card that I had up on the screen. So that is the Christmas one. And then for the ones that don't have tags, I used the Always Remember paper by Spellbinders. And these are the ones that I pulled out. So this one is really faint, but it's like a blue kind of floral, and then this kind of watermark. This is the card base. And then I thought it might be really fun to add some holographic cardstock, so I pulled that. And then this is the other one, this pink, and then this really pretty gold foil font with gold foil cardstock as the base. And then I just have my die cuts here and little chipboard pieces because I haven't picked out the stuffings for either of these. So that is everything that we're going to be using. Oh, one more thing. I lied. It's two more things that we're using. I almost forgot. We're going to be using a couple embossing folders. This is just a little Christmas tree embossing folder. This is the Cuttlebug Provocraft. I don't know. I got this one from my mom. So we're going to be using that on the Christmas one. And then I have my 3D peony embossing folder here that we're going to be using for these two. So now I think we're ready and we can get started. Okay, so we will start first with the Christmas card, just because that one does come with the little tag. And I'm gonna move all of my little ephemera bits off to the side. So the card base that I'm using here, this is a standard A2 size card, which measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So first I am going to cut down this gold foil cardstock, and I am just going to do it 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it's just 2 notches below 5 1/2 and 2 notches below 4 1/4. And I'll move the scraps off to the side. So this now should fit perfectly on top with a skinny little white border. So that is perfect. And the piece of cardstock that I'm going to use on top of that is going to be this floral. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in again, and this time it is going to be 2 notches below once again. So that is going to be 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So we're going to just crop that down like so. And we're going to again move our scraps over to the side. And now this piece will fit perfectly on top of the gold foil with just a skinny border around that. So those are the first 2 pieces. This is the base of the card pretty much done. So the next thing that we're going to need is we are going to add our embossed piece of paper. So what I am going to do for that is I just have a piece of 65-pound white cardstock here that I am just going to cut down to fit inside of this embossing folder, which is 4 1/4, and I believe it's by 5 1/2. I think it's just a standard. Oh, 5 3/4. So I am just going to cut this down just so that it will fit inside the embossing folder, just like that. And I am going to go ahead and emboss this. Okay, so here is our embossed cardstock here all done. Both of the sides look pretty similar, so it doesn't really matter which side we use, but that is our embossed piece of cardstock. So we are going to trim this, but first we are going to bring back in our gold foil cardstock, and we are going to trim this gold foil cardstock to be 3 inches by 4 inches. And this is going to go on like this. And then we are gonna trim this down now, and we are gonna make this just a touch smaller. So it's just gonna be a notch below. I'm just gonna trim off that piece there. Actually just gonna even this up there. And along here. So we are going to make this just under 3 by just under 4. And you'll see that this now fits perfectly on here with just a hair's edge along the sides. Just like that. Next, we're going to bring in our tag, and I am just going to trim these corners. Okay, so my corners are trimmed, and I want to also add some gold foil to the back of this. So I'm actually just going to trim a bit off the bottom so that it fits onto this gold foil piece. And I am just going to glue this down and just trim it once it's glued. Saves us a little bit of work. So just get that centered so that there's gold foil around the sides, and then pop it in your trimmer and just trim so that the edges are roughly the same. And then we're also going to do the same for the corners. Just like that. So there is our tag. And now all of our paper has been cut and we are ready to begin assembling our card. As easy as that. So I'm just gonna use liquid adhesive to adhere all of my paper together. So I am gonna just start by gluing this larger floral piece to the gold foil. Just making sure that the gold foil around the edges is as even as it can be on all sides. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead right now and adhere that to the card base. Just like that. And once again, we are watching our edges and trying to make the white even on all four sides. Just like that. So now our base is more or less done. We are going to bring in our embossed piece and we are going to adhere that onto our gold foil. With embossing folders, they can kind of be, or with embossed paper rather, it can be a little bit finicky to try to get it to stick to the cardstock. So you might find it's a little bit easier to use double-sided tape. But for today, I'm just going to use the liquid adhesive and I'm just going to burnish that down, hoping that all of the sides stick just like that. So now what I do to kind of take this card from being just a regular card to being a little bit of a higher end kind of style card is I use foam tape. So I have my foam tape here. This is just 1/8 of an inch foam tape. So I'm just gonna cut off a strip and I am going to stick that on the back of both the tag and this embossed piece. And I am just going to use, I think, 2 strips on each, just kind of close to the center. Just, this one's a little bit long. Just like that. Okay. So now that we have our foam tape on there, we can begin assembling these and putting them together. So I like to put my pieces on at a bit of an angle. I think it just creates some interest in the card and it creates movement on it, which I really like personally. If you want, you can totally put it on straight and have them on straight and have them a little bit off center. That's totally okay. Do whatever feels good for you and whatever your style is. But for me, my style and my preference is to have it on an angle. So I am just going to angle it. With the trees, it is a bit directional, so I'm not going to do a super steep angle, but I want it just angled enough, so I just have it done like that. And then I am, what you can do is you can come in and you can actually make your tag a tag if you want to go the step further by using, I have my little We Are Memory Keepers little punch here. So I am going to punch my hole. And you can do this with a regular hole punch as well. Feel free to use whatever it is that you have. So as you can see, I just punched a hole right in where the hole is there. And I just have some twine here. It's really kind of thin twine and it has some gold foiling as well. So I am just going to kind of thicken this up. I'm going to wrap it a few times. And I am just going to tie it onto the tag. Nothing super complicated. And I kept the loops kind of loopy, so it kind of makes it look like a bow. I'm just going to trim this piece here. I'm also going to just trim this piece down here. There we go. And there, it just kind of looks like a little bow on the tag. Just going to bring it down a little. And there we go. So now we have our little tag there, and I am going to take off the foam tape from the backing, and I'm going to just adhere this on top, and I am going to angle this in the other direction, just like so. See? And just like that, you have a card. You can absolutely stop here, or you can go in and you can just add in some embellishments if you want. I'm actually pretty happy with how this looks here. I don't think I'm going to do too much here. I might just add a little piece. I might just add a little piece of holly up here. I might just do that. And I am just going to glue this down flat. Right there, just like that. I'm just going to try and hide most of that tree there. There we go. And just like that, you have a card, and you have also used your little tag. So that is the process when you're using a paper collection that has tags in as part of the 12 by 12 paper collection, or just as part of the collection that you're using. Next, I want to show you how to get this same look, but with a card, but with a paper collection that might not have the tags in them already, but you love the design and you want to do it. So I'm going to pull out the Spellbinders paper, and we are going to achieve this very same look without actually needing to use tags themselves. So let's get into that one now. So I have here, I've just already gone in and cut everything down to size, just because all of the measurements are the same measurements as we used to prepare this one here. The measurements for the actual tag itself are 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. So that is what the tag size is, and what this pattern piece of paper measures, and what this pattern piece of paper measures. And then I have just gone in and added an 1/8 of an inch border in the foiled cardstock for both of those. So I'm going to put one of these off to the side, and we are going to get assembling this. So I'll just go over the measurements once again. They are the same as we did here, but I just have my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so my standard A2 size card. I have my my holographic cardstock here that is an 1/8 of an inch smaller than that, and then my pattern piece of paper that is an 1/8 of an inch smaller than the foil. Okay, so we are going to get these pieces stuck together. Making sure we have the foiling all around. Okay, I'm actually just going to get that stuck to my card base as well. flower here. Okay, so I used my peony embossing folder for this one here, and again, this foil piece measures 3 inches by 4 inches, and then I just cut this piece down 1/8 of an inch just so that we have a border all around that. So I'm just gonna add some glue. This embossing folder is a 3D embossing folder, so it can be a little bit hard to get it to stick down. This is one of the embossing folders that I typically will use double-sided tape on, but today I'm just gonna see if I can get it stuck down just with liquid glue. Just like that. Okay, and then so this is the embossing folder. That's the piece that we're gonna put at an angle like that. And for the tag, all I have done is I have these 3 pieces. So I have my base, my foil base, my patterned paper that is gonna act as the tag, and then I just pulled out a little ephemera bit with a little sentiment. This one says hope, light, faith, kindness, hugs, and strength. And then I also pulled out just a little butterfly. And these are just to embellish this cardstock stack, and it's going to kind of resemble a tag. You can go in and angle the pieces to make them look like a tag, just the same way that this one is angled. You can punch your hole and add your ribbon or your thread or anything like that. But I am just gonna keep this one flat. I'm going to grab my foam tape, and it's the exact same process. We are going to add our foam to our pieces here, just like that. And then on this one as well. Might just add this one just right to the center there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I have my little sentiment here. So I'm gonna grab some more foam tape, and I am just gonna add this, and I'm just gonna pop it up on the bottom here. Just like that. And then we are just going to assemble our card. So make sure we have it opening the right way. Gonna get this one on an angle, just like that. And then this one I'm going to have going the opposite direction, just like that. And then I have my butterfly, which I think I'm going to just add right to this corner on the tag here. And to do that, I am just gonna take a really thin strip of foil, or not a foil, foam tape, and I'm gonna put that to the center of the butterfly. And I am just gonna add it right there. And I'm gonna fluff up the wings a little bit just to create some movement. And there is our card, and this is the way that we can make this card without the use of an actual tag. So we have this one with the tag and this one without the tag. I have one more variation to show you, and this one we're going to use a scallop punch. So again, all of the dimensions for these are the exact same. I have pulled out 2 little ephemera bits, and always remember, and then this gold foil flower. And the steps are the same until we come to the bit that we are going to be using like the tag. So I am going to get this assembled here. Okay, so for the tag on this card, I have pulled out my We Are Memory Keepers. It is just the stub and scallop punch. And I am just going to make the corners on this tag a little bit fancy, just like that. So I am using the scallop and I am just punching the top 2 corners. So it will look something like that. I think I actually want to do all 4 corners. I think it might just make it a bit fun and different. So I'm going to punch all 4 corners just like that. And same steps, I am going to glue this down. Just like that. And so as you can see, you can totally go in and just make this cardstock your tag. And you can do that by then just coming in with your regular punch and just punch a hole. Let's see, I want this hole to be a bit smaller. So I'm gonna use the smaller punch here. Go in the center, just like that. That was not overly centered. I might just go in and use the bigger. There, that's a bit better. So we have that. I am gonna grab my gold twine and then we'll have our little bow. And this one I'm just gonna put down with a dot of glue there. Just like that. So there is our tag, and then we are gonna add our sentiment on. Again, right on the center. I think I might put this one again down towards the bottom, just to even it out. Just like so. I'm gonna cut some more foam for the backs of these. So we've got one, that one is a bit long. One for the back of our tag. And then some for the back of our embossed piece, just like that. And the same process goes. We are just going to adhere these down. And again, I like mine angled. You absolutely don't need to angle yours. You can put them on straight. It is totally up to you. Just like that. Like that. And then I have my little flower here that I'm gonna, again, use a little bit of foam for. That one's still a bit big. And this one, I am just gonna add right there, just like that. And that is the finished card. Here are our 3 finished cards that we made, inspired by using the tags that come in some of our paper collections. I really hope that you enjoyed. Let's just have one more look at each of these cards. Let me know if this is a video that you enjoyed and if it's something that you would like to see me do more frequently, in the sense of having little quick card tutorials like this that are 15 or 20 minutes to make, and I can absolutely start working on some ideas for that series as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be notified whenever I post a new video, and we will see you in the next Beyond Creation video. Bye.